Hello YouTube, this is Prophet David Howard Jr. with another broadcast for your learning. I want to talk about something that a lot of ministers don't venture to talk about, and that's black-white issues, race issues, if you will. First of all, let me start by saying that I have nothing against any particular person that looks any particular way or is from any particular country. But that is not a reason for me not to discuss these things as they need to be discussed, because guess what? People that are like me and people that look like me and people who have similar ancestry as me are at the bottom. So you need more ministers to come out and begin to rebuild, if you will, that which nobody has dared to rebuild throughout history. Now, I want to go into the scripture a little bit and talk about this thing called black unity. The drugs are intentionally brought in by the government in some cases, and Planned Parenthood, all these devices and strategies that are intended to keep us at the bottom with nothing. And the only way we can fight back, and I'm not going to go into the whole entire strategy on YouTube, but the only way we can fight back and get something for ourselves that I will mention in this broadcast is to unite with each other. And I want to show you the scripture, how the scripture is all for uniting with each other. In the book of Acts chapter 10 verse 34, it says this: opening his mouth, Peter said, I most certainly understand now that God is not one to show partiality, but in every nation the man who fears him and does what is right is welcome to him. And some translations say is accepted with him. Fears him and works righteousness, does what is right. What is right? Love is right. The Most High told us to love our neighbor. The second golden commandment, the golden rule, if you will, the second most highest commandment, even higher than the 10 commandments, is for us to love our neighbor as ourselves. So as we build and as we begin to in these last days make things better for ourselves, then we are basically to continue. If there's somebody that needs your help, you help them because they're your neighbor. If you can help them, you help them. But the fact of the matter is that nobody has been helping us. And people will ride or die for Obama, but Obama has failed to represent the needs and the wants of the black community. And this is why I always say that I know a lot of biracial people, and some of them will indeed gravitate towards the white side, if you will. Some of them. And you know, I've known a lot of biracial people, and I've had biracial friends, things of that nature. I have nothing against them whatsoever. But the fact is the fact. And when you're dealing with facts, race is out the window. The fact is nobody helping us who are black. Now, let me just go into some things. The Most High accepts all men who fear him and live righteously before him. We are commanded by the Most High to love our neighbor as ourselves. Our neighbors have failed to love us, so we must love one another because we are still commanded to do so. How can we do this? Number one, stop seeking the acceptance of other groups of people. If they accept you, they accept you. If they don't, you don't. If you had a job, you're there to work, not to make friends. Be quiet. Go along like Chicken George said in Roots. Make them think that they're in power. Make them think that they have control to get what you want while you're building behind the scenes. Number two, stop seeking out other groups and relationships. You need to stop seeking out other groups. If it happens, it happens. But a lot of people, you look at yourself, you don't love yourself. So you don't want nobody that's similar to yourself. So you seek out relationships with other groups instead of you dating this person, that person, this person, that person, and the best person for you ended up being that person, the white person. It don't work that way. It be people, because they status, because of the things that's built up in their head, they go and reach out for certain people, and that's wrong. As far as gangs, drugs, all the stuff in our community, if you're going to continue to destroy your communities, your neighborhoods, then you really don't have a say. And as you destroy, you do the job of all of those that want you destroyed. So think of that next time you're getting ready to pull that trigger on somebody else that could even be your long lost cousin. We need to unite. We need to build our businesses on the street. If you see a street vendor and he's black, go buy his product, because we're not going to be able to afford these high rents in these buildings. We're going to have to build our business on the street and build it from there. You see somebody selling barbecue dinners on the street, go buy it. You see them selling flowers, greeting cards, whatever it is, begin to buy it, because I'm going to tell you flat out, those little corner store people that's from the other side, overseas or whatever, they don't hire us. They only want our money. They take our money. Right here in Milwaukee, there's practically 2 or 3 stores from people who were born and raised overseas on every corner, but they don't live where their store is. You need to wake up. We need to start having our own store with fresh, new products on the street, buying them until we could get these buildings, till we could take over these buildings. Because the black man in this United States of America, and some people call it the United Snakes of America, is 57% unemployed. When you're unemployed, what's left? Desperation. When you have desperation, you're going to have crime. And crime exists in black communities not just because these are bad people. It exists because they're desperate. They're desperate. You need to wake up, and if you think you're smart, then be smart. If you think you're smart, then be smart. If you're not a psychopath, stop acting like one. Stop living by the gun, killing your own for the Ku Klux Klan and all of those groups of people who want to look down at you from their palace. You're helping them. You helping them with these gangs. And I'm not going to lie, I used to be a little deal with that gang stuff myself. Back in my former days of lacking wisdom. Used to deal with it. I used to deal with that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go to the extent on YouTube because I'm too smart for that. But let's just say that when you kill your own, when you out there punching people, taping it on your phone, you doing their work. You keeping these detention centers open. I work at a similar facility, and these type of places are full of black people. We have to wake up in these last days. We have to build a better life for ourselves. And the Bible condones it. And the real true faith is not a Caucasian faith. The biblical faith is not a European faith. Let's just get that straight. Through the years, it's been transformed into that by crooks, corrupt priests, and what have you. But that's not what it is. And I'm going to close with that. It's for all people to unite and to love one another. But let's start. This message was intended for us who are black. Stop the killing, stop the stealing, stop the drug dealing. And those of you with the business sense, you need to rise up and begin to build your businesses so these people that are in these lifestyles can have a way to make a living. You cannot tell a drug dealer to stop selling drugs where he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Got hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in shoeboxes. 10,000, 15,000. Could go buy whatever he want, eat whatever he want. If you're not going to give him another way to make a living. Why would he want to go from having what he needs to not having what he needs? Thanks for listening, YouTube. Take heed to this message.